Okay, so here I am with Tusk. It's been hard to. Tusk has been, fairly reserved the first part of his stay. Um, he's had to, get used to having a variety of handlers, which we know he doesn't necessarily adjust well to a new person. So I think the stress of adjusting to multiple handlers, being somewhere new. I don't know if he's ever really stayed anywhere else but your guys' house. But the combination of somewhere new handlers, new routine. He was fairly reserved the last, first 4 or 5 days of his stay. And he's starting to get really comfortable here. And so out of that comfort, as a result of the comfort, I'm starting to see, a little bit more of who this guy really is. What's at the root of these issues that you're experiencing, and how does he feel? How is he processing the world? And then obviously things that we can do to help this guy. So you'll notice that Tusk is standing next to me extremely calm. He is scenting the environment around him, so he's calm, but he's also still investigating his environment, which is, very dog-like. But this guy is extremely sensitive and easily influenced. So what I mean by that is if something were some sort of loud, startling noise was supposed to happen out of nowhere, and he wasn't quite ready for it, this guy would have a tendency to, oh my God, what was that? Or even go into flight, where he actually takes the length of my line with him because he's so scared. So what I mean by sensitive is, the outside world is loud to him, and even the littlest things can kind of trigger this jumpy response. And I don't know if that's something that he was exhibiting before he was attacked or after, but regardless of when or why or how, it is who he is now. So we need to focus on the now. And how am I going to fix this hypersensitivity? So in addition to being sensitive, he's also easily influenced. And those two things can often become, they feed off of each other. So if a dog is naturally sensitive, they're naturally in tune to all the sounds and smells, and their prey drive is higher, which he does have a high prey drive. That's why he's sniffing every single surface of my body right now. When we add a dog who might be showing signs of sensitivity to the environment, and then we're automatically gonna get a dog that's easily influenced by the environment. And what I mean by the environment, it can come from like these neighbor dogs that are barking in the background right now, or a loud noise that might suddenly come around the corner. But it can also be influenced by humans, and it can be influenced by his own humans. So he is really mellow right now. But it would not take me very much to get him aroused. I could easily create excitement with this dog. It doesn't take much to get him bouncing around and worked up, right? So if I'm adding a lot of, hey buddy, hey Tusk, hey you're cute, buddy, you're adorable, I love you. Especially that kind of energy directed towards him, I am keeping him in a hyper aroused state of mind. I'm actually creating it myself. So you guys have a pretty loud family, and by loud, what I mean by loud is you guys have a lot of things going on, and you also have a lot of previous stress that everyone's kind of been through that's kind of created some mental struggles, right? Which we all have them. It's just some of us have higher forms of them than others. So, basically, this guy is not just influenced by the interactions you're sharing with him, that you're putting on him. I love you, Tusk. I want to pet you, Tusk. Let's play games, Tusk. This hyperactive energy that you might be sharing with him on a regular basis, but also the natural hyperactivity of your house. Let's go. We're in a hurry. I don't know my schedule. I got to get to the next place, right? You guys are from what I've seen, at least from Georgia, and I imagine the other people in the family might be similar to this, is that everyone's in a hurry, everyone's frazzled, there's a lot going on, there's a lot of stress, a lot of hyperarousal, and maybe not enough downtime to process all of it. So you're kind of in this kind of hypervigilant, adrenalized state of mind. Okay, so if you're in that state of mind all the time, and then you also add energy to him, oh my God, I love you, oh buddy, oh you're so cute, oh pet, 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 tug of war, you know, treats, I don't know. I haven't consulted with you guys yet, so I don't actually know the extent of this. I'm just guessing based off what I've seen. You're going to get a dog who is also very hyper aroused, adrenalized, overexcited, and unfortunately what that translates into is not being able to process things properly. So I just talked about how your constant go, 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 oh my God, I gotta get to work, I gotta get to the kids' practice, you know, the kids have school, then the kids have practice, and then we gotta come home, we gotta make dinner, we gotta work with the dog, and you know, you got all this back and forth stuff. This kind of hyper arousal state doesn't allow you to process things very well either, you know. And a lot of people who have been through traumatic experiences are addicted to that because it's easier than coping. I'm not saying that's what you're doing, but I think that we're keeping him in that state and not allowing him to process it and cope because we're feeding all this energy into him. So I don't know if any of this is making sense, and you can obviously tell me tomorrow and ask any questions that might be not making sense to you, but you know, right now, even just standing here, he is constantly scouting the environment for something to worry about, right? So there's nothing really going on. There's very minimal activity in my neighborhood. So the fact that he, in just sitting here, is kind of, is part of this hyper aroused state of mind that I've seen him in since he started to actually settle in and kind of show me his true colors. So if we're feeding energy, let's go. If the natural tendency and energy of your schedule is hyper aroused, and then you're adding affection and toys and treats and lots and lots and lots of attention. I know this guy is getting an unbelievable amount of attention. We are basically asking him to stay aroused, excited, on. Don't relax, don't calm down. You know, even if your affection might even make him calm sometimes, this dog is busy, very, very busy. And for a 3-year-old dog of his age, that's actually not natural. So, let's go. So my employee, who he knows and has been around, came out the door, and I was concerning for him. So, but you can see that he's literally waiting for it to happen. He wants this. He's addicted to this. See, he's still looking at this. Let's go. Good. Here. So if you ask yourself, I'm mostly speaking to Georgia because I haven't really met anyone else in the family, but if you ask yourself, how easy would it be for you to meditate? How easy would it be for you to sit down and relax? How easy would it be for you to go to one of those saltwater pools where you float for an hour and all you do is sit there and relax with your thoughts, you know? How easy would it be for you to calm yourself down after you've gotten yourself worked up? And if it's a hard thing for anyone in the family to accomplish, it's always going to be hard for him to accomplish that. Because he is actually mirroring you. He's mirroring this hyper-aroused, hyper-vigilant, hyperactive state of mind, and it's translating into how he processes the world. I think that this is probably who he always has been, because from what I've seen from your family, this is kind of a description of it. His very active family, very busy, very preoccupied, very adrenalized. And since he was raised in that family, he's naturally going to inherit some of those tendencies. Dogs mirror their family, their pack. They mirror the energy in it. So when you add a trauma trigger, like being attacked, and the state of mind that he has been living in, what you get is a dog who can't process what's actually going on in the world. He is not seeing straight. This is a blindness effect from having a negative experience, but also living in a state of mind where he's kind of constantly in this hyper-vigilant, hyper-aroused state. Let's go. So, when we can't process things properly, we react to them poorly. And this is all humans and dogs and animals alike. Humans are worse at it because we can rationalize, but we can all relate to this on some level, right? Where the higher the stress, the lower the tolerance for bullshit. And then what ends up happening is we react in a way that might not even make us feel familiar with ourselves. It might not even be who we are. It's just we're reacting to a stress trigger. And it usually happens very quickly. Like maybe there's not a lot of thought that goes into it, right? And so that's what I'm seeing with him. You know, he's worked with this employee that he just barked at. He's been around her. He doesn't have any issues with her. He never has. Her name's Hillary, but she came out my sliding glass door all of a sudden, and he automatically, right? So that's not him going, huh? Do I know her? Who is that person? There's no processing. There's just reacting, right? So the last thing I'm going to do when he does that is scream no at him or correct him for it. Because this bark is an uncertain bark. He's insecure, right? He is coming from a place of, he's uncomfortable in his own skin because he's sensitive. And he's adrenalized and he's over aroused. So he's not comfortable sitting still, right? Stillness is not fun for him. And you might be able to relate to this to some level, right? So stillness isn't fun. And so when you add a trigger, we don't have proper processing. We don't have a really good concept of what's actually going on. So there's going to be an automatic reaction. The trauma he's experienced has created a reaction that none of us really like, which is what I would call reactivity, what you call aggression. You know, he doesn't really want to bite anything, but he thinks, oh, if I show my big bad voice and I show him my big body, maybe they'll run off and go away and I won't be traumatized, right? That's how I view it. So my response to him, because where he's coming from is really out of uncertainty and discomfort, is to show him what I want him to do. So if you rewind the video, I did not say anything to him that would disagree with his behavior. Instead, I redirected it. Let's go. And after I redirected it, I brought it right back to the center of focus where it all began and said, hey, now that you've calmed down a hair, can you process this now? And if he shows me a sign that he can't, or that he's choosing to be in the wrong state of mind to process the information, I'm going to do it again. Let's go, bud. Let's go. And then we try it again. And I'll repeat this process over and over and over again until I get him going, oh, that's actually not that big of a deal. I know her. And it's like, that's exactly what I need you to see. I need you to see that there's nothing going on, that this is something that's completely harmless and is not going to negatively impact you. And he goes, oh, okay, well then I can just chill out. So now that I kind of explained what state of mind I feel like this guy is living in and who he is as a person or as a dog, how he's feeling, you know, he is hyperactive, adrenalized, over-aroused, overexcited, sensitive, nervous, insecure, right? This is not a great combination to push into new scenarios. We need to get him to a point where he's more secure, more relaxed, calm. not aroused, not adrenalized, not worked up, not, you know, showing these signs of needing to be constantly on guard. So now that I've explained that, we're going to use the dog side of it to explain. Now he's focused on my neighbor. Let's go. I'm going to go the other way. Let's go. So right now, that's a great example. See how he perks his head up? And now nervous tail, head is erect. He always lifts his head. He always goes when he's suspicious, right? So you're going to see, this is prey drive. He is in a predatory state of mind where he's going, do I need to take care of this situation? And he does this every single time he feels threatened. Every time he's suspect, he shows you the same body language over and over and over again. So instead of making him sit through it and process it, or instead of correcting him out of it, what I need to do is switch the drive. I need him to understand how to see the trigger. And he's not going to accomplish that through a correction, at least not at this point in his training. So if I see this kind of erect prey drive concern, well, he goes, oh, what is that? I'm going to go, let's go, and turn him out of it. Turn back, and try it again. So Hillary created a response. One of the reasons why I got a response, because I haven't had a reaction from him yet, is because he sat there for too long in prey drive, loading and getting more and more concerned because he can't process it when he's in that drive, when he's in that hyper-vigilant state of mind. His processing is poor, right? So I was busy talking to you, so I would have been more timely in moving him away from the trigger. I would have responded a lot faster. Boom, let's go. Instead of sitting there and letting him load. So if I put a dog in a sit and they can just sit there and fixate on the issue, let's go. It would be the equivalent of trying to meditate while you sit there and fixate on your issue. You're not going to change your state of mind if your center of focus is still the stressor. You need to actually redirect yourself and remove yourself from the stressor in order to process things properly, right? So when he saw Hillary and let's go, I moved him out of it. By the second time I moved him in towards it, he didn't bark, but I don't know if you'll be able to see him in the video because I'm not sure if you could see his head, but he looked at her in the same way that he originally looked at her that created the explosion. Come. Here. Sit. So that was not the right drive. I need to actually change the physical outward look he's giving to the stimulus in order to change the pattern he's created for himself to soothe himself and make himself feel better about these stressors. Let's go. Let's go. So I kept turning him, and I kept turning, I don't know, I can't remember how many times I had to turn him, I think maybe 4, before he literally went from to, yeah, I know her. Right, so it took 4 turns to process, but he did it, and he did it the right way. So anytime you see, let's see, he's doing it right now, but I kind of want to see if maybe I can show you from a side angle. But it doesn't take much. He's kind of, like I said, he's always in this state of mind even if there's nothing around. He's always, I feel like, come on. Good. I feel like Tusk is kind of always suspicious about the environment. And we want to change that so he can enjoy himself more in the environment. that might also have to come from the human side, right? Like, if you're always suspicious when you're outside, he can't change. His handler needs to help him understand he doesn't need to be suspicious. This could be a challenge, especially if you have trauma from his previous issues. So we have lots to work through here. So if I'm just sitting here like this, he's just looking up at me. I'm gonna watch his head. I really want you to square off a little bit more, bud. There you go. I'm just gonna watch his head and see. Let's go. Like he doesn't want to show you. Everything looks real good right now. Everything's real even. You know, his head's more even with his body. And then when something's gonna pop up and it's gonna change everything about the way he holds himself. This is a little bit high. He goes in and out. And the reason why he is moving around a lot is because he's anxious and he's high prey drive. So he's like, oh, I caught wind over there. I'm gonna turn my head and sniff over here. Oh, I don't really want to stand in one place. I'm kind of an anxious dog. You combine those two things. This is why he is struggling to be still. Good. I'm literally just waiting for him to show you what prey drive is. He did just do it, but it was mild. And it's hard to read on this dog because he's got such a fluffy head. Boom. He just did that. He goes in and out of it a lot because he's literally going, do I need to be worried about that? Do I need to be worried about that? Oh, I guess not. Do I need to be worried about that? Oh, I guess not. You know, that, oh, there we go. Boom. He just lifted his head. He got right back out of it. This might be really hard for you to see because when you get all this fluffy hair and stuff, it's very hard to read a dog that has this much hair on their head. Let's go. Boom. Car. But he got off of it really quickly, so that's good. But boom. Huh? Car. So if you're on a walk and he's like, boom, person, my last response is going to be, no, leave it. I'm going to say, let's go, and move him out of it. Right? Go. There you go. There it is, right there. Boom. He's on something. Yes, let's go. Move him out of it. Take him back to it. Say, hey, can you process that trigger again in a different way? No. Still on it. Go. Turn him again. There's really nothing going on, right? But he's always concerned. Can you process this again? Not seeing the same. Again, this might be really hard for you to see. He's very hard to read. There. Boom. Concerned. Let's go. Boom, concerned. Let's go. Go. The sensitivity about him triggers him quickly. What was that? That's the sensitive part, right? That's the easily influenced part. The high prey drive ties in with that, making him more hypervigilant and on guard. You know, I'm sensitive. Do I need to be concerned? I'm sensitive. Do I need to be concerned? These two things are very predatory, and they're almost equivalent to a dog who thinks they're being chased by a tiger all the time, right? He should be more just, especially if any chance of him being a service dog, that's just, he has to be mellow instead of all the time. So, let's go. By finding the trigger that makes him uncomfortable and creating this repetitive movement, let's go. Good. I'm switching the drive. I'm telling him that I want him in pack drive instead. And so, good. That gives him an opportunity to learn to trust his handler can take care of the situation. But pack drive is a calm, relaxed state of mind, and it's attentive. There is a lot more ability to process information in that state of mind because it doesn't require, there's no hyper arousal or hyper vigilance behind it. So if they're in that state of mind when they see a trigger, They're not going to explode and bark or show any signs of aggression. They're just going to be like, oh yeah, I know you. And that's what you want. So what we need is to bring out his pack drive. And when I see that he is overstimulated, sensitive, and in prey drive against a stimulus that would trigger him, it's my job to switch that drive. And by switching it, there's a number of ways we can do it, and today I'm specifically discussing the turn, which is where I am actually, boom, let's go, turning his brain away from it. I'm not allowing him to stay in that heightened state for very long before I move it quickly and say, hey, focus on me. Getting that focus on me produces pack drive. That takes, so let's break it down into steps. This is mild, I know, but let's say, like that Hillary situation, boom, 10. I go, hey bud, let's go this way. Bring the attention on me, let's go. By the time I bring it back, let's go. I might just be in an 8 now instead of a 10. Can you process this at an 8? No, you can't? Okay, let's go. Let's go. Now now this time we turn back around, he's at a 6 of over arousal. A 6 of prey drive, a 6 of adrenaline, a 6 of intensity. I say, you know, you've been here for almost a week or a week. Let's ask for more than a 6. I think you can do more than a 6. And I go, let's go. Let's go. Bring him back. Sit. Good job. 4. So I can just go 10. You know, I can continue by turning him and switching his drive. I'm actually giving him an opportunity to take his focus, put it back on me, and calm down. As long as I'm calm. If I'm not calm, no, they can't calm down. Let's go. Sit. So I basically go, okay, well, instead of fixating on that, I'm going to turn you around, get your focus back on me, which is going to be calming. 10, 9, 8. Okay, let's see if you can handle that. Okay, no, they're still too heightened. Let me center your focus back on me and calm you right back down. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. Let's see if you can do that. So that continuation of things gives him an opportunity to calm down instead of heating up and actually exploding. And it also, at the end of it, teaches him what drive to see stimulus in. I want you to look at that in pack drive. I don't want you to be concerned. Pay attention to me. Relax. And every single time I capture a really good state of mind, hey, this is how I want you to feel about my neighbor. Every time I capture that, and I end the session, and I put him in his crate, he's going to retain it, and he's going to be that much better the next time I work with him. So I'm actually transforming the brain and the memory by doing this, transforming the brain to see the stimulus properly, but I'm also transforming the brain to a long-term effect by him sleeping on it in his crate. Sit. Good. See how he's addicted to this. Service dogs can't do that, and no pet is very happy doing that. It's a very hyper-vigilant guard dog state of mind, which he's the same for Dard, so part of him is supposed to do that, but we want to bring out the side of him that goes handler, handler, handler. So I am trying to create long-term memory in terms of actually capturing a moment, letting him sleep on it, and then bringing him back and doing it again. That's going to actually process into long-term memory and better coping skills. So that's kind of what we're doing right now in his program, and what I'm going to ask you to do when he goes home is slow exposure, properly handling it till he can start to see things more clearly and in the right state of mind, and then letting him take a nap on it so he can really create long-term memory out of that by having a nice nap. Good job, bud. Good. That is beautiful. I'm so stoked to see him just lay down on his own. I know you might see more of this on your own, but we're focusing on stress and curing stress. So we put him in situations that do get him a little bit more worked up. So when I see this, I see progress. Now Now that was not a visual, that was a sound. Let's go. Let's go. And you could see it when he was laying down if you rewind it. Let's go. The way he looked up and his ears got erect. The way he went from, he was in it down, but the way he turned around and went was the cue. That's the cue. If you want to prevent an explosion, you got to know the cue that's going to create the explosion. That was the cue. I should have got him out of it. Let's go. So I moved him out of it and said, hey, focus on me and not that. Calm down. Brought him back. Let's go. Time to do it again. Let's go. Good. So now he's like the sound is gone. That was a very quick sound. But I got the attention back on me without having to use a tool. Come. Good. So I'm glad we had some triggers pop up so I could show you how I handle it. Let's go. And so much about this technique is putting him in that pack drive, because that pack drive state of mind teaches a dog to not be on guard and be so worried all the time. So this is, let's go. See, like that? See, and I caught it faster even though he bopped. That was my neighbor's door closing. He can't see anything. There's shrubs all around the way. Let's go. But you see how he keeps wanting to center his attention where the concern is? Let's go. Walter! You see how he wants to keep, like he's addicted to being concerned. Let's go. Very neurotic. That's a poodle for you, neurotic. Go. So by this constant movement that I'm producing, let's go, is what's keeping his attention on me instead of focusing on the problem. So we're going to focus a lot more on, dude, what are you doing? Let's go. Come on, here, sit. I'm going to focus a lot more on you guys with creating the right state of mind instead of creating physical obedience. I don't care about physical obedience in my training. I'm not, no service dog trainer would really like my training because I'm not an obedience trainer. I specialize in the state of mind of a dog and how they process stress. So it's a bit different, but it might mess up some of your service dog training. I don't really know. I don't know the difference, but I do know that putting him in a sit or trying to just walk by the stimulus is not the cure for this type of behavior. It's the movement that I'm creating where I'm, let's go, constantly trying to get that engagement with the handler because he's so addicted to looking everywhere else. Let's go. The more movement you create that gets him in pack drive and focused on his handler, good boy. Then all this other stuff starts to go away on its own. So that's good, but you have work to do because that's not what you're used to doing. You're probably he is very well trained in obedience. He knows heel, he knows sit, he knows down, he knows stay, he knows all that stuff, right? But when he's in a heel or he's in a sit or he's in a down, what state of mind is he in? Because if he is constantly scanning the area like he's doing now, he's even holding his paw up right now. You can't see it in the video because he's not certain of himself. Oh God, do I need to worry about something? So the more I see this constant, he's not really looking at me. He's really scanning the whole environment in a way that's very concerned and very on edge. So this movement, let's go. This movement, which I'm not using a huge span of space to stay in the video recording. I use much more space when I'm not recording. But this movement, let's go, is going to train his brain to focus on his handler more instead of worrying so much about the outside stimulus. So what's actually kind of fascinating is that even though I'm not really an obedience trainer, I wouldn't say, although I can get results, that's for sure, if I want to. I'm not an obedience trainer and good. I'm not a service dog trainer, I don't know how to do a service dog. But I can help a dog become a service dog by getting this brain to not be such a predator and to be a pet. Stop fixating on the world around you and start looking at your handler. And not necessarily, let's go. Because I have a watch me command. A lot of people will do that. Watch me, watch me, watch me. Not because I'm telling him to do so. Come, come, hi, here. But because it feels better. It feels like shit to be constantly concerned about the world around you in a way where you feel threatened. So when they have access to pack drive, sit, and they understand that this is actually going to alleviate stress and make them feel better, believe it or not, it can actually become something that they choose to do versus something we have to force. And that alone makes a dog more obedient and more service dog oriented, because I'm literally creating pay attention to your handler instead of hunt. So I gotta wrap this video up. I think I covered what I wanted to cover today, and please feel free to ask me any questions tomorrow, let's go, about what I went over in this video. It's a lot of information just in this short video, and I have much more up my sleeve, but it should give you some really good insight into who he is and where he's at and what kind of activities we're going to be doing to rehabilitate his issues. So hopefully you found this helpful.